future nurses, how are we doing, guys? Are you drowning in clinical placements, assignments, and does it feel like there is not enough time to do anything? Trust me, guys, I have been there. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 life-changing time management tips that I did that helped me stay on top, and this is going to help you stay on top of your workload and prevent any burnouts. And I'm excited about this video because at this moment right now I am reviewing an assignment and it falls in that category, so let's dive into it. So first of all, the first tip on my list will be prioritize like a pro. We all know that if you don't prioritize your workload, you are not going to get anything done. So when I say prioritize like a pro, let's think about it as you have things that are very important and they are urgent. You have things that are important but not urgent. And then you've got things that are urgent but not important. And also you've got the things that are not important and not urgent. So if I give you this board, things that are urgent and important, and those that are important but not urgent, which you can sort of schedule that. And I've got the urgent but not important, and we've got the not important and urgent. So when I come back to the urgent and important that you're going to do right now, let's say for example, if you are at work and you've got a patient, or if you are a student nurse, you've got a patient who is on a Parkinson's meds, and you've got a patient who has got a heart rate of 100, and you've been told, which one are you going to do first? Do your Parkinson's meds first, because these are time critical meds, or even if you've got an IV antibiotic, this is very important and they are time critical. I know student nurses don't do IVs, but obviously oral medications like antibiotics and Parkinson's, you can do them. So you would do, or I would do my Parkinson's meds first, because the heart rate of 100, after I have given my Parkinson's meds, it could be me setting an alarm or even starting the medication round with that patient and get that out of the way, and later on I go to check a full set of ops on my patient to see where is that heart rate going. Is it increased? Has it decreased? Do a full set of ops to get a full picture of what the patient is on or what they are using, and then you can bleep a doctor or maybe give them the treatment that they need. So that this one you do now, which is the Parkinson's meds, is to be done now. Your news, you will check it later, where you get your heart rate and act on it, so that you can schedule that. And then we go to the urgent but not important. Let's say you've got your patient that is got an appointment coming up in, let's say, 2 weeks or in a week's time, and they are in the hospital, but they will need this appointment booking. Doctors are very good on this. They will sort that out for you. So this one, you can delegate it. You can delegate that appointment. Let's say it's a transport for you to book. The ward clerks, excellent. They will book that for you. So this one you will delegate, which is your urgent but not important tasks, you delegate them. And let's say if you are a student and you are doing your assignments and stuff like that, this one could be your study sessions or your lecture notes. You can review them when you have the time, as in when you are not on a shift. You can review your notes, your lecture notes, or you can do your study sessions. But let's say if you have an exam that is to do now, and then let's say they're not important, not urgent, this one you just delete them. So this could be something like emails. So things like, let's say you are on a placement at the moment and you want to do a spokes placement, yeah. So you have gone to a different ward and you've said, oh, I would like to come and do a spokes placement, and you were told to email the ward regarding this. What you're going to do, you will do this email, you send this email later on when you are at home. You won't do it straight away because you can do it anytime as long as you are on that placement. And my next point is going to be batching your tasks or your workload. If you don't put stuff together, you are not going to succeed. I have got an equation that I put it in my head. If you put your tasks, group them in similar tasks, you put similar tasks together, it makes things easy. You know, multitasking is something that kills productivity. I understand that we should be able to multitask, but this is what deceives a lot of people. When you multitask, you don't figure out what specific thing you want to do. So all you got to do is group things together. So your things like your lecture notes with maybe things that you have learned from your placement, you can group them together. Things like 3 uniforms, like we have got iron them, I've got everything in my car book. So whatever happens to me, I've got a uniform. And prepare your bag, prep your meal. All of this come together to make you keep yourself on track. So try and set 5 minutes every morning, 5 minutes of your time every morning, and do categorization of the tasks that you want to do. Guys, this happened to me when I was a student. You know, when your instinct tells you something is not right, it's not right. So I was it was one of my management placement, yeah, and I was left to sort of work as a nurse, you know, when you are doing your management placement. So I was the lead nurse or whatever for that team, and I've got 10 patients to my name, and my assessor went for a training, so I had to do the shift. And funny enough, I didn't know that I had to set all the times for my IVs. So I had 4 IVs and I had only written 3 down. So I made someone do it for me, because obviously you are a student, you can't do IV antibiotics, yeah. So I prepped them and I got the nurse to do it for me, and she did it. She did all the 3. I completely forgot that I had 1 IV. So something, I said, it feels like I've left something, I haven't done something. And this IV was meant to be given 2 p.m. By the time I noticed, it was 1:55. God, I was shaking, my heart sank. So I quickly ran to the nurse and I said, I'm so sorry, this is what happened, and please can you do it for me? She said to me, my dear, you are very lucky, don't panic, you are still within the time, don't panic, I will do it for you. So imagine if I had not remembered, that means my patient will be, her medication, IV antibiotic will be delayed, you know. So it is better for you to set 5 minutes. It could be before you get to the shift, before you put yourself on the ward. It could be when you are in your transport going for work. You can set it and then write what you want to do, how you want to do it. Maybe you want to do medication administration, IV medication preparation. Just set 2 or 3 things for that morning and just focus on it, because if not, I know, I've been a student before, you will be everywhere. Other point will be for you to learn to say no, guys. Learn to say no. You are not a robot. We are here to help. Don't think when you say no, you are being negative. This happens to me a lot when I started earlier. I used to say yes whenever I'm being called to cover a shift. This is when I feel like I've got 4 days off, and if I do that shift, I still have got 3 days off. But if you've got certain things to do, you've got study notes to make, you've got an assignment coming up, why do you say yes? You've got to say no, because no is a complete sentence. Just look after yourself. Your self-care comes first. You can't pour from an empty cup or an empty bottle, and you are a body. You cannot pour from it if you are empty. So you cannot do it. Just let them know, I cannot do this shift, and no one is going to blame you for that, because that's what I used to think. I'm leaving my patient unlooked after. But is it good for my health? Burnout comes when we overcommit. So just say to people, you know what, I can cover this shift when I finish my assignment or the job that I am doing. And also, when you are learning, what I use that I found very, very, very effective is using the Pomodoro technique. If you know, the 25 minutes don't do it for me, because I feel like I've only got 5 minutes and it's not enough for me to chill, make a brew. So I do it as 50 minutes and I take about 10 minutes, or I do 1 hour 15 minutes and I take 15 minutes break. So do it that way. And also, guys, schedule a time for self-care. I mean it, schedule it. It is part of the job. So just schedule time for your self-care. Maybe a walk, go for a walk on a path. And also you can schedule things like going out with your mates, you know, do them things, because it helps for you to connect with nature, and that helps with your brain. You cannot work all the time. I know people who tell me, you know what, I work anyway. I work in a busy ward, so I work anyway. But that working that you are doing it with your brain, your mind, and your soul. You are not connecting with the nature. So just try and do, let's say, 10 minutes walk. You can walk your dog. My next step will be to use a digital planner when you are doing anything. I love old school, so I do write stuff down. But I believe, because I just want my brain to connect with what I'm doing, so I just write it. But I know these days electronics are very, very, very efficient. So just use Google Calendar. Just do your thing on there. Plan your things. Don't just go without planning, because if you don't plan, you plan to fail. That's what we know. So ditch the sticky notes and try and do color coding. So what I do is I use red for things like my shifts that I've booked, that I know that I'm coming up for, and I use blue for let's say if I've got any trainings coming up, and then I use green for things like my self-care, which I do every Wednesday. That's a bit weird, but that's when I do my self-care, because I'm busy over the weekend. Guys, set a buffer timer between tasks, because you are not a machine. Yeah, so do that. And finally, I would say schedule time for your self-care. That is very, very important, guys. Do some yoga. You can't pour from an empty cup, so you need to refill yourself. Do not negotiate your self-care, because that is very, very important. Try and also sleep for 7 to 9 hours and during your placement times, because if you are on the long days, you know how it feels. Try and debrief shifts that are overwhelming, guys. That is very, very important. It has happened to me before. If you speak to colleagues about this, that gives you a relief. To recap, in this video we've just talked about prioritizing like a pro, batching your tasks, and we've talked about learning to say no, because no is a complete sentence. We've also talked about using a digital planner to sort your workload out, and then we've also talked about scheduling your self-care. I post documents like this every week, so try and come back if you feel like you are interested. Give this video a thumbs up and let's be friends. Bye.